This roofing company wanted us to build them a solar division. I couldn't trust the owner of the roofing company. Not somebody I could recruit to. And I saw a lot of reps leaving his company on the simple fact that what they call it in like the insurance claim roofing world is stack and starve. So they would start putting guys on draw and they would never pay out their commissions.
Oh no.
And that started happening to us. I just lost all faith of being able to recruit there. And there was this moment where I was like, I know everything that's needed to put together a solar operation. Solar City was the best education I had ever had. I worked directly for Elon's cousins, and we were going to San Mateo once a month. That was the place that took the door-to-door sales guys shoot from the hip mentality and like, here boy, this is how corporate life works. But this is also how important sales is. And everything was fully vertically integrated, and it was a really, really, really good hands-on experience of how sales and ops needs to be, but from like a much higher level. And so, you know, when they were like, hey, build our roofing company a solar division, there was a hard line in the sand, and it was like, no, I'm done building anything for anybody else anymore. 2 weeks later, Home Nerds was created.
Wow. Not quick, but you knew it's like, this doesn't sit right with me. I already know most of the stuff. Let me give this a shot on my own. My name is Deep, and I'm the host of It's Not That Deep. Now, before we jump into this episode, which you're not going to want to miss at all, I want to take a second to tell you my story a little bit. So after graduating college, I worked for the federal government of Canada. Not only that, I worked in the pensions department. I know, super exciting stuff, right? Now, I was the king of water cooler talk, super long breaks, and staring at the clock waiting for my shift to end. That was my life, and I absolutely hated it. The whole time I kept asking myself, is this it? Isn't there something bigger, something out there that I actually truly care about doing? So eventually, after a ton of internal debate and quite frankly a lot of friends gassing me up to start some kind of show, I decided to launch It's Not That Deep. Now that was back in 2019. The whole premise of the show was to connect with people who I find interesting and to learn how they are realizing their potential in whatever domain. Now I also wanted to have some kind of show where I could document my journey, something where, you know, if I have kids or grandkids one day and they ask, you know, what I was doing at 26, 27, I tell them, go to YouTube, check it out. So that single decision flipped my life upside down because it led me to meeting a bunch of incredible entrepreneurs, CEOs, athletes, artists, and everything in between. From there, connecting with the right people led me to starting my own media company. And that's when I met my current business partner, Jamie Lee, through this podcast. So then in 2021, we launched Deep Social Brands. Fast forward to now, we've done over $2.5 million in sales. We've traveled the world, moved countries, built teams, built incredible relationships, and we've gotten to film content all around the world. Like right now, I'm in Panama. We're filming content with one of our clients. And the crazy part is I don't even have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube yet. But none of those vanity metrics or anything like that actually truly mattered, because putting out content changed my life. I'm telling you, if you just commit to hitting publish, I guarantee it'll change your life in ways that you can't even fathom. And that's why Jamie and I decided to launch putoutcontent.com to help you realize your potential through putting out content. And no, don't worry, it's not just another agency. So if you are serious about growing online, connecting with people around the world, and living the life of your dreams, and if you're tired about guessing what to post, what the strategy should be, how to get your videos edited, how to even film them, or just generally how to put out content, head over to putoutcontent.com. You'll thank me later. But for now, let's get to this episode of It's Not That Deep. Kenny Crosby, my brother. Welcome to the It's Not That Deep podcast, man. Happy to be here. Fired up to have you. You're the CEO and founder of Home Nerds. You're a sales god. You've been doing door-to-door sales. You're now building a tech product, which we'll definitely dive into. But I kind of want to start this at like, what got you into the sales game, man? Why sales?
Dude, it's so addicting. I grew up playing football my whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You grew up playing football too. I mean, you're wearing Brady jerseys.
Come on, we had to bring it out.
However, and you know, because you know, you've gotten on sales calls and you've closed deals for your media company, but
What a rush.
what happens inside of you when you close a deal?
Oh my God. Incredible. Like this It's better than sex.
It's almost better than everything.
It's okay. My first deal I ever closed was a 12K a month deal. Okay. My first ever. I hadn't sold anything in my entire life. A client of mine came on my show, calls me up. He's like, Deep, you do video, right? Yeah, of course I do video. I never made a video in my life. Same thing with, it calls me again, websites, never did that. All this. Calls me, he's like, yeah, you do sales, right? I'm like, yeah, of course I do sales. I didn't even know what sales was.
I do now.
Got on this call, closed this deal. And I remember that feeling, Kenny. I went out, I do not play basketball, and I've never played basketball in my life. I had this ball, I took it up. Dude, I couldn't miss. I felt like Kobe. I'll never forget that feeling of closing my first deal. And I'm like, I just made more in like 10 minutes of like work than I have in like months of working a salary job.
And I think that's what keeps you coming back to it. Because of course you're going to have bad days. You're going to have hard days. You're going to go through periods of time where things just aren't falling your way.
Mm-hmm.
But a little motto that stays in the back of my head: sales fix everything.
It does.
It does.
It's the lifeblood of every organization. And I genuinely believe that. Yeah, and it teaches you so much about yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Going through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And like when you're not on your game, you could tie your identity to that. When you are on your game, you can also tie your identity to that. Teaches you so much about emotional regulation, about not getting too high. You eventually have to learn not to be going and throwing up basketballs every time you close a deal. Like,
seriously,
so much you learn from sales.
And I think that emotional regulation and that character development is probably the most worthwhile part of being a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're betting on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have salaries.
Nope. Eat what you kill.
Yeah. And I think that mindset and the last 18 years of door-to-door sales, I would take somebody with 10 years in door-to-door sales over 10 years at an Ivy League university.
100%.
Because you're going to learn
life.
Yeah, and you're going to learn so much more about yourself. And you're going to learn how to interact more with people.
Yeah. The ability to deal with rejection, the ability to actually put yourself in the place of the person you are selling to. Sales gets this negative connotation from like media and movies and whatnot of like the sleazy used car salesman.
Of course.
Right? Who's here to take advantage of you and sell you junk.
Yeah.
But when you believe in what you're selling and you actually genuinely think that it can help somebody and you put yourself in the frame of that person of like, look, dude, like, you don't need to do this. But like, I actually would love for you to explore this because I know it can help you. Just it comes from just such a different place, man.
Yeah, I don't think we should be called salespeople.
Mm-hmm.
We're servants. And all the sale is navigating and smoothing out the process of change for somebody else.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Shitty salespeople do not make that transition smooth. Good salespeople make that transition super smooth, and that's why sales occur, transactions occur.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody has resistance to change. And if you're purchasing something, you're changing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're purchasing a new home, if you're purchasing a media package, if you're purchasing solar, if you're investing in companies, you're taking some sort of risk that you're not currently doing right now. And everyone loves to be in their own comfortable bubble. The second you step outside that, there's change.
You're challenging their beliefs. You're challenging their narrative of what is real for them right now and what's worked for them in the past. And yeah, you're enacting change. I love that frame of reference. And so going back to it though with you, what, like, obviously we can sit here and geek out on like the psychology and like that stuff of sales all day, and I'm happy to do so. But what was the first thing you actually got and sold? Like, what was that like?
My first ever, my first ever sale was a TV, phone, and internet package.
Okay. All right.
I was in Yonkers, New York.
Uh-huh.
I had probably 3 weeks in. My first 3 weeks as a door-to-door salesperson, I did not sell a damn. Luckily, I was still in high school, right? I was living at home. I had plenty of cushion to fail, right? But I'll never forget that first sale. It was late at night. I was tired. My iPad, actually, we didn't even have iPads back then, man.
You had a clipboard?
It was a clipboard with order forms inside the clipboard. You know what I mean? Like one of those clipboards that opened.
Uh-huh.
And lights were on. My cargo driver was like telling me that he was ready to pick me up. He was coming. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got like 5 minutes. Like I got to get into a house right now. Otherwise, like chances are I'm probably not coming back here tomorrow because this isn't working for me.
Yeah, 3 weeks of L's.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, especially in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think off that sale, I think I made $180.
Mm-hmm.
But the second I did that, dude, it was like, wow, I'm waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I am so jacked up. This is the best thing in the world.
It's the most important $180 you ever made in your life.
Yeah.
Because it set the path, it set a trajectory, right? And look, there's a level of like, there's an addiction to that.
Of course.
Feeling. It's like, dude.
You take a complete stranger, you just knocked on their door, it is dark outside, and you're on 3 weeks straight of L's.
Yeah, man.
And now you got somebody that said, okay, I'll give you enough time to listen to you, which turns into, I'll give you enough time to come into my house, and now you're walking out of there with an order form. And somebody, they were only switching their freaking cable provider, but hell, I walked out of there with an order form.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was enough. That was enough to get me hooked.
How long did you do that gig for?
Cable was probably like a 1.5 year run.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was next?
Then it was alarms.
Alarm.
Home security systems.
Home security.
Yep.
Okay.
So, graduated high school 2007. I did TV, phone, internet like that summer, and then my freshman year in college. And then I moved to Chicago to do one more quick stint of TV, phone, internet. And then I moved down to Florida and we started home security. And then that's when we kind of started traveling all over the U.S.
Got it. Okay, man. So like you have been in the door-to-door game for a hot minute. I mean, 18 years is no joke. Most people would give up at, around that 1 month. I think a lot of people would like give it a fair shot, right?
Right.
But a lot of people just are not cut out for it. What do you think made you stick with it? Whereas, and you've seen and trained and like now run a company and have like hundreds of, door-to-door salesmen have worked under you for years. What makes someone have a little bit more of what you had and the stick-to-itiveness, like that pig-headed discipline, so you will, versus, no, this ain't for me. I'm out. I'm gonna do something else.
Don't get me wrong, because I've had those moments also. But I think when you have a certain level of success and the freedom that ultimately comes with being a guy that is a top producer, there's nothing else that exists that gives you the freedom and the income potential. When I was younger, I got to travel the country with my friends. It was like a band of brothers, right? Now that I'm older, now I'm fixing problems that exist with the industry, which is why we're building the things that we're building, right? Which is going to totally disrupt the home service industry, and I'm super excited about it. But
we'll definitely dive into that.
Yeah, it's cool. But from a salesperson's perspective, it really boils down to there's no cap.
Yeah.
As competitive and as hungry as you are, you can go out there and eat the whole mountain if you want, right? But that also comes with, you don't kill anything, you don't eat.
A ton of sacrifices come with that.
Yeah, and I think that self-reliance is really what kind of keeps you going.
Mm-hmm.
You could go work a 9 to 5, you can get a paycheck, but how fulfilled are you going to be at the end of the day?
Well, I could tell you, not at all. I did 6.5 years working for the federal government of Canada in the pensions department, collecting my 9 to 5 check. And it was a good check. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
And it did allow me
You
to
probably had like a retire. You probably had a whole bunch of nice
pension
things around with that
benefits.
too.
I was able to buy a house. I knew that I should buy a crib while the banks are going to give me $500,000 just because I got those golden handcuffs on. Versus I knew deep down I'm an entrepreneur. I just didn't have the right opportunity yet. And I'm like, look, let me get this thing, check that box, whatever. But now, even now, having made millions of dollars, whatever, like I don't think I'd be able to go into a bank today and get that type of loan at that rate that I got. So, but like going back to it, I mean, when you work a 9 to 5, there's this illusion of safety and of, oh, like I'm set. I know what I'm going to get. Like I know the amount. I have this, I can progress by this much. I have this track where I can make more money. But yeah, there's something so much more attractive to me about the eat what you kill model, because it's like, and look, I can't compare my story 1-to-1 with yours, right? Like I have not done door to door, and I have like a whole different level of respect for people who have and do door to door sales, because that's a level of like being able to face rejection that like I'm getting on Zoom calls, I'm going for coffee, and I'm selling something that I own. It's like, I have to love it. If I don't love it, why am I doing it type of thing, right? So it's not 1-to-1, right? If I'm going out and selling cable, phone, and whatever, I don't know if I would be that elite at it. Like, I don't know if I'd be the top producer. I'm sure I'd do all right. But, going back to it, the 9 to 5 thing, I just don't, I have nothing against a certain type of person, whatever, doing it. I don't tell anyone what to do, and like, don't like, go quit your 9 to 5. If that works for you, if that like perceived level of safety is cool for you, by all means. We need people like you.
Of course.
Like, that also makes the world go around. We need those people.
Yeah.
But then we also need the people who are going to produce for the 9 to 5 to exist.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah, and like you alluded to earlier, a business doesn't exist without salespeople. No. You're a software company, you're a service company, you're a product company. You're not making a product if nobody's buying it.
Yeah.
You're not bringing that service to somebody's home if nobody's selling it. That software doesn't get used by companies if nobody's selling it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But that's what's cool, because operations doesn't work without that 9 to 5 person.
100%. Yep.
And you need sales and operations to exist together.
Yeah.
For a business to work.
And you also need marketing, because you also need leads for those salespeople to hit up.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a list of these people, and I know like a lot of models, you also have to go outbound and cold call and like get your own leads and whatnot. But, generally speaking, if someone's applying for a sales role at any company now, it's like on the company to give them a list of leads, or like a type of person to actually sell to, right? And so like, it's not like these things operate in silo, like alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we're a little biased here. None of those matter if you don't have people selling. There is no business.
It's kind of the truth.
Like you need people to sell the thing. And so I know you're my guest, but I do want to share one little anecdote here, and something that someone taught me early in the sales world that I think you'll resonate with. And we were talking about it a little bit, but I had this mindset thing too, where I was like brainwashed into thinking that like sales is this kind of sleazy thing, and like, you're getting on calls with people and like you're extracting their Amex and you're just trying to like close deals.
Sure.
I thought it was about closing deals. That's really what I thought sales was. I was so outcome focused when I first got into it, and like, what is this going to do for me?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had this mentor, and there's a reason I'm saying this, but I had this mentor who basically told me, is like, no, dude, Deep, like the reason you're not actually closing these sales is because you're only focused on closing. let me like reframe something for you. If you had the cure to cancer, like if you had the cure to cancer like right now, would it not be like your absolute duty and responsibility to get it to as many people as humanly possible?
Yep.
Like, would you not be like kind of a piece of shit if you just
Kept it to yourself.
That's sales. You have the cure to cancer. It's not actually the cure to cancer.
Sure.
But whatever your product or thing, you have to believe that it is.
Yep.
And that's how you can communicate that through your actual sales process. Like, hey, look, if this person is actually qualified and you genuinely do believe that you can help them out, it's your responsibility to get this to them as effectively as possible. And I love how you said, like, kind of walk them to that. What are your thoughts on kind of that frame of reference?
Honestly, man, like I have told countless salespeople before, you need to look at yourself as a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You are the professional.
Mm-hmm.
If a little child who was sick didn't like the taste of the medicine, but you know that that medicine is going to put him in a better situation than he's currently in, what is your job to do?
Give him that medicine.
Little airplane, whatever it is that you have to do, but smooth that transition for him and ease his fear, because he needs to take that medicine, because on the other side of it, he's going to thank you. And if you don't have that conviction and you don't believe that you're putting people in a better situation than how you found them, your ego is not going to allow you to sit in that position.
Wow.
But if you're that convicted in what you're doing, then you're not going to be afraid to be that bold at all.
Yeah, 100%. Conviction, that's such a beautiful word. And I use that a lot when I talk to people about sales, because like, it's this supreme belief that's like in your bones, in your DNA. There's no question about it. It's this unshakable, like, no, like I genuinely believe it. Me, when I'm pitching our services to people, if they're the right fit and I genuinely think that this can help them, you know, there's another side to that where like, if you're selling to someone who like, I don't actually think that this can help you and this is bullshit, yeah, obviously you're not going to be as convicted because you're like, I'm just after a check.
Yep.
And people can feel that.
Of course,
like, everyone knows when they're being sold to and they're not actually the right fit for it. But when they are, and you're just helping like remove these blocks and barriers, it's a beautiful friggin' thing. And I love that I get to see the output of, or the outcome of that when they do decide to like make that change. And it's like very like satisfying and gratifying. Like, yeah, man, from that first like Zoom call or coffee or meeting or whatever to like you getting these followers or growing your business or whatever it is that like then relates to the goal that you actually have. And I get to see that happen. It's like, cool. I actually really do love what I do because it's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you really see yourself positioned as an assistant buyer, not a pushy salesperson.
I like that. Assistant buyer. That's beautiful. When you transitioned, I guess, I mean, it's not like you ever stopped selling, but when you kind of stepped into more of a leadership, mentorship, training role, what was that like?
It wasn't choice.
Okay.
I think I naturally just got pushed into it. It's funny actually, because I often get frustrated that people always come to me. It's like, all right, Kenny, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, and it's like, you guys not think on your own, right? But early on, it was everyone just naturally started gravitating towards me, and I'm not really somebody that second guesses myself. And I'll tell you what, the sales leadership and mentoring people is way more fulfilling than even getting a sale is. Truthfully.
Wow.
Because when you duplicate yourself and your abilities, like,
it's not one-to-one anymore.
No.
One-to-many. And then there's this butterfly network effect that you get to see your experience distilled into, hey, kid, like, avoid some of these mistakes that I made the hard way. And, like, you're still going to have to make yours as well. But, like, here's a blueprint. Okay, let me show you some stuff.
And I used to get really mad and, like, frustrated, you know? Like, almost mad at God when things were so tough. But now I realize it was all just so that I could show people how to get through some of their hardest days, which is, quite frankly, makes the story a hell of a lot sweeter.
And there's more impact there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that in kind of more like of a formal way?
Really probably since 2012.
2012. Okay. Wow.
2010.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well over a decade.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you know how many people you've like trained and coached up at this point?
No.
No. Not even like a ballpark.
I mean, a lot. I've worked, there was a good chunk of time working at Solar City, and we ran big teams over there. There was a chunk of time at Vivint Solar, big teams over there. Home Nerds. Been a lot of good guys there too. And even before that, in, the ending of our alarm days, I've worked with one of my best friends, Taylor McCarthy, for many, 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 many years, like ever since this journey began. And he was always the number one salesperson in any office that we've ever worked in. But he was so focused on sales. But he would go out and he'd do 10, 11 in a day, right? But that didn't leave time to keep everybody else together and fix all the nuanced problems. So by default, being around that type of high-paced sales environment, when you've got an absolute stud on the loose, it's almost like I was the nanny of the rest of the troops in a sense, right?
Right.
So
you don't want your lone wolf killer closer. You don't want to pull him off that.
No, he's exceptional.
Yeah, like keep him to it.
And that motivates everybody else. But sometimes the other guys just need that little bit of motivation or the help with their paperwork or the, all the other things that a human faces on a daily basis.
You said his name was Taylor?
Yeah.
What do you think Taylor's, like, what made him perform that well?
Dude, I've known the kid.
Because I'm sure, like, the rest of the team would ask, how's he doing 11 a day? I'm struggling to do 1 a week.
Yeah.
What makes him like?
Why could Dion play 2 different sports and go both ways?
Okay. Some people just got it.
They just got it. Why does Brady appear in 10 Super Bowls and win 7 of them?
Yeah. Yeah.
They have chips on their shoulders.
There's some demon driving them.
Yeah.
There's something inside that's like, that'll make you wake up at 5, say no to dates and weekends, and sacrifice so much.
So Taylor would literally, we would be in Saturday mornings, we would have a meeting real early, like 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. And then everyone out to turf, right? And over the summer sales model, every day you had a meeting. We were all living in like group housing together somewhere in the country. But when Taylor was on go, he slept in his shirt and badge. He left for turf at 8 o'clock in the morning. He would bring 2 or 3 technicians with him. And by the time I got to turf, I couldn't get a technician at all that day.
Because he had
already booked them all up for the whole freaking day.
Wow.
I mean, the kid would leave with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in his pocket and a phone charger. And he would leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning, and he wouldn't come home until about 10.
Damn.
And so there's just
yeah.
He's operating on a different level back then.
Yeah.
Still to this day. But
I'm so inspired by that, man. Like, here's the thing. I don't think I'm that.
I know I'm not that.
I know people throw out work-life balance, but like I genuinely I need to get like my workout in. I do like blowing off some steam.
Yeah.
I do other things in my business than sell. And so I can't relate with that that psychotic oneness of one thing. And I'm so inspired by that though. I do go through seasons where I'm I need to channel that Mamba mentality. It's time to lock in, wake up early, cut out all the bullshit. I'm hitting the phones. I'm going, but it never lasts like
I know.
that long. Like, you know, it's kind of a fleeting thing. And so I always wonder, what is that thing? With that like Jordan psychotic thing that, like, I know we keep, you know, comparing it to sports, but it's just such an easy, you know, you played football, you know, there's that one athlete on the team that was just different.
Yep.
He just, yo, no matter how much you hit the weight room, 2-a-days, whatever, eat clean, like all the stuff, there's always that guy who just like will outperform everyone and make it look effortless.
Yeah. And honestly, I probably wouldn't have had as great of a career, you know, selling. I look at sales as a profession, right? And it's a sport.
It is.
I mean, I think business is the ultimate sport, but if you look at sales as a profession, I wouldn't have as good of a career if I didn't stay in Taylor's pocket as long as I did. Because when you're around that guy and you're competing against a guy who's literally throwing 8, 9, 10, 11 sales down in a day, coming home without anything,
you got to look in the mirror a little.
Kidding me?
Yeah.
It's not even possible. So thankfully, actually, I was able to win Rookie of the Year my first year selling alarms. Taylor did 420. I think he finished right on the dot at 420 at the end of the year. But I ended up finishing the year with like 111, 112 accounts. That was a great first year selling alarms for me, you know? However, I had the same hours. I lived in the same apartment. And he did 4 times what I did.
Wow.
He's just a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was like you in the same sense of like, kind of want to go blow off some steam too.
Yeah.
There's a world out here that I want to go see.
Yeah.
You know?
So speaking of that then, you know, when did the transition happen from like selling alarms and working for other people, let's just call it, you know, as a salesman for someone else's company, to, I think I want to do this for my own thing, kind of.
So that, I was starting to feel it like 2018. Starting to get burnt out of solar. I think just still living in New York had a lot to do with that too. I was over the winters. It's tough knocking doors in the winter, especially if you've been doing it at that point for, I don't know, however many years I was doing it at that point. But it's tough. Like, you're like, all right, cool. Like, I don't really need to go sell today. I'm not going to knock doors to pay my bills. So like, what am I really going to knock doors for? And you kind of just like,
once you hit your quotas and
that
whatever.
Fulfillment is like, it's not the same. But then I got down to Florida. We were working for a roofing company. This roofing company wanted us to build them a solar division. I couldn't trust the owner of the roofing company. Not somebody I could recruit to. And I saw a lot of reps leaving his company on the simple fact that what they call it in like the insurance claim roofing world is stack and starve. So they would start putting guys on draw and they would never pay out their commissions.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sleazy.
And that started happening to us. And I just lost all faith of being able to recruit there. And there was this moment where I was like, I know everything that's needed to put together a solar operation. You know, Solar City was the best education I had ever had.
Yeah.
I worked directly for Elon's cousins. Wow. And we were going to San Mateo once a month. So like, that was the place that took the door-to-door sales guy shoot from the hip mentality. And like, here, boy, this is how corporate life works. But this is also how important sales is. And everything was fully vertically integrated, and it was a really, really, really good hands-on experience of how sales and ops needs to be.
Yeah.
But from like a much higher level. And so, you know, when they were like, hey, build our roofing company a solar division, there was a hard line in the sand, and it was like, no, I'm done building anything for anybody else anymore. 2 weeks later, Home Nerds was created.
Wow. It was that, like, not quick, but you knew it's like, this doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
I already know most of this stuff. Let me give this a shot.
Yeah.
On my own.
Yeah. I was like, what worst case scenario? It doesn't work. And I just go work as a salesperson at another company.
And that's like one of the most beautiful things about sales. And one of the things that like, I don't really have much of like an emergency fund or a backup plan or whatever. But Jamie and I do talk about it like, yeah, what if it all burned down to the ground? What's our contingency? Like, well, I can go sell.
Yeah.
I have that. And like, no one could take that skill away from me now.
Yeah.
I have it. You know, if I had to do it for someone else, so be it. Until I get back to the place where you were, where I'm like, I think I could start my own business again. Now that, you know, I'm back on my feet or whatever. I think I could do it, but now faster and better, and knowing how to tie the ops in with the sales, with the marketing, get all the right people, fulfill a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I feel a lot of fulfillment in it being my own thing. Maybe that's my ego. I don't know. But I mean, it definitely is. I put my name in everything. But
So yeah, I love that.
but
it is. It's that it means something.
yeah.
And I think you treat it better too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a baby, man. It's a living, breathing organism that now exists in the world, and people know about it.
Yeah.
And other people rely on you for it.
Yeah.
Your editors have work because of you, right? You guys have a shared vision because of it.
Yeah.
You build a community around it. Yeah, there's a lot of, maybe it is ego, but I feel the same freaking way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, would it be easier some days to take a fucking VP role somewhere? Probably.
Yeah, definitely. Easier for sure. But
would
you
it kill me inside a little bit?
Absolutely.
It would.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I don't care how cushy that is, how many stock options they were to give me. Give me 3 months there at most, and I'm gonna be itching to go build my own thing again.
Mm-hmm. That's, I think, the difference between like someone who like actually is an entrepreneur versus someone who's like an entrepreneur, or someone who actually could really excel within a company. I think that's beautiful as well.
Yeah.
You need a killer operator. If I'm just being frank right now on the podcast, I think that's the one thing Jamie and I are missing. Both him and I are not operators. We're both kind of visionaries in our own respect, and we have our like respective skill sets that we're very good at. But that ops is not one of them.
Sure.
So, you know, like to me, it's like, okay, I know that. Now there's a new level for me as a business owner that I need to unlock, which is getting really good at hiring. And I'm not good at that. Talk to me about that transition of like just being focused on eat what you kill to now, okay, it's all fun. We can all sit here and talk about how dope it is to be an entrepreneur and owning your thing. And like, yeah, there's some highs and lows, but the real thing now you got an op. Now you need humans to go and do the thing. What has that been like for you?
I'll get into that, but the first thing I want to say is we're not telling you to quit your job and just go start a business.
Absolutely not.
Being an entrepreneur is not always that glamorous. Most days, you are shoveling shit and putting out fires. And I'll be honest, as a business owner, you're the last person to get paid.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Everybody else gets paid first.
Jamie's back there laughing because, man, we haven't taken a check in a minute.
Right.
But my staff,
I've been there too.
My staff's getting paid
every fucking week.
Yep.
So I wanted to say that so that people didn't run off and just go quit their day jobs. But what was the other question that you asked me? Hiring?
Yeah. So then going from, okay, I'm starting my own thing now. You know, you went from that thing to like, you know what? I'm going home, nerds. I'm building my thing out. Now you need people, right? Like, and now you got to actually build the systems, the process. Like, you need contractors. You need to develop these partnerships. Like, it might not be hiring like a salaried employee day one,
Sure,
but like you need people to fulfill. You can't do this all on your own.
Definitely not. You need salespeople. First off, you need to have the right partnership around you.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, in the very beginning, get ready to lose a lot of sleep because you're going to be wearing a lot of hats. Unless you're, getting investment or startup money, like we were bootstrapped.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't earn our first dollar as a business until that first installation happened.
Same.
Salesperson got paid, and then I got reimbursed a little bit.
Which went right back out before it even hit the bank account.
Yeah, it was already. We made our first account. Our first deposit hit, and that afternoon there was no money in the bank account
Absolutely.
again. Right?
Yeah.
And it was a very long time actually before we had our first salaried employee. It was all 1099 salespeople.
Yeah.
With partnerships to different fulfillment organizations.
Which you had already built relationships with prior.
Correct.
Great.
Yep. And now what it's scaled into is relationship with fulfillment partners across 38 states and then 1099 sales contractors selling across that footprint. But it's taken a different role with some of the newer things that we're building because that's a completely different skill set and different types of people. And now I'm learning, it's like, okay, well, some of the questions that we're getting asked, like, all right, well, who's on your board of advisors? Who's this? Like, who's that? And I'm like, wait a second.
We can't.
Sometimes I feel like I'm starting all over again. But I think that's the beauty of it because as you evolve and as you continue to grow, it takes on this different shape.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're hiring for a sales position, yeah, sure, I know what to look for. I know how to train a salesperson. But as the model changes a little bit, your eyes are going to get opened up to this whole other world.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have to start staffing completely different roles and building out new systems that you've never built before to manage that and plan for that. And, so in terms of sales reps and systems, sure, I can do that in my sleep. But some of the stuff that we're going down now, I'm like, oh, I need some help.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. What are you transitioning into right now? Because I'm excited to hear about this.
So there's a big problem in the industry. Not one piece of software talks to another. Not one piece of software allows for a rep to knock a door and take it fully to a happy customer, PTO, permission to operate. That's what that means in our world.
You need like 10 different softwares that don't talk to each other.
Yeah. So if you want lead management and like a canvassing tool, you as a business owner need to buy, seats within one of these 5 companies, right? For all your sales reps. If you want reputation management, you have to pay for seats with another software. If you want solar design tools, you're either handcuffed by the installer that you're working with, or you're flipping the model and you're buying your own and you're having a different relationship with them. And then you need a proposal tool, and then you need a CRM.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't one thing that takes lead management to happy customer installed with full project visibility all the way through. And what we're building is something like that, but where I see it is competing with Angie or Home Advisor.
Okay.
So imagine eBay, a marketplace, buyers and sellers, right? You want to sell a pair of shoes? Cool. Somebody's out there, they'll buy your shoes. I don't know why somebody hasn't built this yet, but there needs to be a fully integrated, transparent marketplace for home services. And that is what we're doing.
All types of home services? This is not just limited to solar?
Correct.
Wow, that's interesting. So anything from driveway sealing, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, all that type of stuff.
All of it.
Wow, that's really interesting. Remind me after this podcast, I got someone to intro you to.
Cool.
That's really cool, man. And so where are you at with that?
Well, I mean, there'll be 1,000 variations and updates to it.
For sure.
There's a good chunk of the development work done, and it's a tool that we're using internally currently for solar.
Wow. And it's working.
Yep. And we use it.
You worked out the kinks, and it's like,
we still continue to find kinks.
Of course.
You know?
But it's working for you right now, and your staff are using it.
Yep.
Wow, that's interesting, man. I'm very excited to see where that's gonna go.
Thanks.
We won't dive too much deeper into that before you can release more info about it. But dude, congrats. And like, I can really appreciate that as an entrepreneur, and going from the, actually door-to-door sales, selling cable and whatever, to alarms, to doing your own thing, whatever, and the millions of steps along the way, to now solving a problem within the industry from actual experience. I think people respect that story so much more than if you just came up with an idea for an app without having done the dirty work, so to speak, and you're just looking for some crazy multiple and like whatever, just become a billionaire off this app.
Right.
I love that you're actually someone who saw a problem and you're solving it. And it's going to be interesting to see how you take your sales skills from all this time, and now how you're going to sell this at scale.
Right. And you know what's funny is I had this conversation with myself, and I was like, do I want to run a tech company? I was like, I don't really know how to do that. I'm a sales guy. But then I was like, wait a second. You're not going to not be a sales guy. You still got to sell this.
Absolutely.
So
the core principle's still there.
It never goes away.
It never goes away. You're always going to be selling something. And that's one thing that I do want to kind of put out there.
Sell yourself on a daily basis.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's like, for me, I had this limiting belief when I got into this world, going from an employee to running my own thing and having to sell that thing.
Yeah.
Right. And I got my ass kicked when I first started, dude. First of all, I didn't have like a real offer. So I knew I had that 10K or 12K a month check. And that was my only sale. That was I actually had to form an LLC to do this deal with
I love that.
Whatever. But like, I didn't have a business. This was not a business.
Pause. How many people would sit there and try and create a business plan and try and create an LLC and try to get started and spend money on marketing and blah, 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 blah.
I need a website. I need business cards.
Dude, and you were just like, network, check, cool, fuck. I have to build a business.
Yeah, pretty much exactly that. I didn't even know how I was going to fulfill. I was just like, you say yes, close the deal, now we figure it out. And Kenny, I know we work together, and so this is like, a little bit, but as boys, I feel like I can say this to you, like, I still do that today.
Sure.
There's so many things that like on a day-to-day basis, I'm just like, yeah, absolutely, got you. We can build that whole thing for you, no fucking doubt. Get the check, it's in, it's like, oh shit, they went for it.
Hey, Jamie, we got to figure this, and this out because I just agreed to that. Yeah,
but
I think that's awesome, though.
I mean, yeah, no, I would recommend that to anyone. Look, sell first, prove that there's actually something here.
Yeah.
Then go figure all that other bullshit out, like your website, your this, your that. Like, I hear about people getting office space before they've actually sold a single widget or a single thing. It's like, office for what? Who's paying for all this? Do you realize like how expensive it actually is to run a business? Like, go get the money and then deal with all the problems later. Get the money into your friggin' checking account. Have someone Zelle you if you need it. Like, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. It's all noise.
Yeah.
Right? But then, eventually, okay, to legally do this, we need to have contracts and and then I figured all that out. I went on YouTube University, how to make an invoice. What is a LLC? Like, I didn't know any of this stuff, but you figure it out.
Right.
But, so the point was, I have this one contract. I don't have a business. I'm a glorified freelancer who just connected a few dots and I'm making a little bit of money. Now what? It wasn't a repeatable business that I could do more of this. It was just kind of a one-off thing. And I'm like, shit, I got the bug. I want more of this. I'm making more from these checks than I am clearing from my job in like 3 months. This is awesome. I like this. How do I do more of it? I didn't actually have a business. So what did I have though? I had a podcast. And I'm like, oh, I can start selling podcast services to people. So what I did is I'd get on all these sales calls and it would be like hitting up Jamie and be like, yo, Jamie, do you have anybody who like has a podcast or needs I'll edit it, I'll manage it, I'll post it. Like that this is before I really even knew Jamie type of thing, but I'm just like selling this. And I'd get on these calls and I'd be so like stressed out. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pitch like $500. If they say yes, like, yo, we're like, I just need like 10 of these and like, I'm good. Like, dude, I couldn't close for my life. I couldn't get a single deal. And I just felt like, man, like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I just didn't actually get it. But it's because going back to it, I was so focused on the outcome. What's this going to do for me? I didn't actually care about, does Ken even need a podcast? And I'm just trying to get him to do one just because it helps me.
Sure.
So I was playing the game backwards, but then, you know, you get your ass kicked enough in business, you start to like learn some things, whatever. And I zoomed out, kind of how you were talking about, like, okay, I need some space now to like zoom out and look at this whole thing. I'm like, well, why don't I find something that people actually do need? And luckily, the universe, whatever, started connecting with Jamie, and we accidentally formed a business together because that client who got me that first deal, he needed to blow up on TikTok. Jamie saw that right away. It's like, we got to get this guy on TikTok. And we did, and he blew up. And then from there, we're like, okay, now we got to form a business together because we actually can do a thing here. And we accidentally started the agency because then we're like, well, let's do this with a few more clients and a few more and a few more. 4.5 years later, we're still doing this thing. And I say all this to say, every time I think I have it like figured out, I get kicked in the fucking teeth by the universe, by God, by whatever. And I don't view that as a negative thing anymore. I used to like really take it like personal when like, oh man, we had a rough month, or like, man, like my identity's still so wrapped up in this thing, right? But I found that there's this mountain that we're all trying to climb. And every time you think you see the top of it and you're like, it's right there, and you get there, and then it wraps around and there's a whole new peak. And I feel like that's kind of what you found with this new vehicle, right? But what has stayed the same? You're still hiking a mountain.
Yeah.
It's all just, but there's just different peaks and there's different, but now you're so much more seasoned because you've done so much going up this mountain. And I don't actually think there's ever a top. Like I've kind of come to the realization that there's just always going to be a new mountain to climb. And
I think that's the most fun part about it also. I think too many people are so eager to get to the top of that mountain, if you will. But they forget that they love hiking. You know? Too many people are not in love with the journey.
Yeah.
They're just waiting to get off the plane.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, slow down, Papa.
Yeah.
Do you remember why you started this? Do you remember how far you've come? Look at where you are now versus look at where you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's like, in order for a lobster to grow, it has to shed its shell, right? You're just cracking through where you are now to go get a bigger shell. But if you stay exactly where you are, you're going to feel this tightness and this uncomfortability. And you're going to start to resent yourself for not pushing through to allow yourself to go get more comfortable.
I really like that frame. Speaking of that, you've gone through a spiritual journey yourself. I think a lot of people, they focus on business on such a like logical sense. I have found, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like I found that this is such a spiritual game.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that world.
I think every time you're about to level up, you're going to get shaken to your core. And I think the more emphasis you put on things that are meaningless, you're going to watch them completely dissolve from your life. And you're going to be sitting there and being like, oh my God, I fucked up. Like everything, like what happened? I'm losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just eliminating the things that are no longer aligned with where you're going.
Give me an example of that in your journey.
It's really funny, actually. So, and it's come full circle now. So I'll give you a current example of that. So, I know we've spoken about some of the hardships that my business went through end of 22. We lost all that money. It's gone. And in that process, I lost a sales rep, a whole sales team, right?
Yeah.
But right before that happened, one of our sales managers of that team had invested into what we're building now, right? He was the first contribution to our safe round within that play. And now he is working with us again, more excited than ever, truly sees the big picture, and can't wait to build the bigger vision with us, knowing that he has a stake in it.
Yeah, he's bought in.
And I was spinning my wheels. Oh my God, I'm a terrible leader. I just lost an entire sales team. I'm a terrible business owner. I just lost almost $2 million. Like, why am I even fucking doing this, dude? Like, where did I go wrong? Fuck. Right? And there's a lot of doubt there. But you have to go through the rough seas, because that's what's going to make you a skilled captain. If you're a captain of a ship that never leaves a fucking harbor, are you a captain?
Barely.
No.
Yeah.
You're a fucking cleaning staff, right? But those rough seas are going to test you like deeply. There's a lot of doubt when you lose people, because there's a lot of respect when they're giving you the respect to lead them, right? And when that goes away, that takes a minute. If your focus and your ego is attached to the identity of that, right? I was attached to driving the Porsche. I was attached to having a big sales team. I was attached to all of these little things. And the universe is like, oh,
that's cute.
You're attached to it. Okay. Gimme.
Yeah.
Now what? And you start to have some real conversations with yourself. And you're like, okay, well, I can't go work for somebody else. I started this thing. I'm not going to let it fucking die. And you keep going. And you've got to be nimble. You've got to adjust. But same reason you were able to do what you did early on is because you have enough belief in yourself that no matter what comes, you will be okay. And you will figure it out. Right? So I think the whole spiritual side of that is you're going to be tested over and over and over again to double down on yourself and not identify with the good things that are coming your way, or not identify and hold on to the bad seasons that you may go through also. Because a lot of guys may just hold on to the bad shit that has happened. Nope, that's it. Okay, we closed up the doors. I go work for somebody else now.
I see it a lot.
My business failed. Fuck that. No. My business went through a hard time. Didn't fail.
Bend but don't break mentality.
Yeah.
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 On the spiritual side, getting specific, when you're in those moments of having that conversation with yourself, like you said, what does that process look like? I mean, I know because I've done it, but anyone's listening, like, what do you do?
There's a lot of isolation. My Friday nights consisted of my foam roller and some mushrooms, if I'm being honest. The partying stopped. Maybe partly because I was embarrassed. But also because I was incredibly frustrated. And because I'm so competitive and I know myself, I need to cut out all noise. I think this is why I like being in the woods so much too, is because when I can really isolate myself and I can ground myself and I can remove bullshit to just let it come in, that's when the conversations start to happen. Because when you're running,
you got too many inputs, too many people, you're being pulled a million directions.
You don't even know what you're supposed to be listening to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So my Friday nights for the better part of a year and a half, almost 2 years, consisted of silence, a Grateful Dead album, and some mushrooms. And there was a lot of soul searching that happened during that time. A lot of rethinking, a lot of re-strategizing, like, what's important to me? Why did you build this? Like, okay, what limiting beliefs are you holding on to? What did you attach yourself to? Like, what do you really want? And like, why does this failure feel like a failure, and why does it hurt so bad? Or why are you holding on to this? And so I feel like when you can actually sit down and listen to this and not the whole world, I think you can make some real change. But if you're just listening to the world forever, like, there's who are you fucking really listening to?
Yeah, they'll dictate your narrative if you let them.
Yeah.
And that happens to all of us. I mean, look, it's very easy to just get caught up in other people's opinions of what is your thing.
Right. And then you start comparing yourself to where other people are. 100%. And then, comparison is the thief of joy.
Totally. Talk to me about the role of psychedelics. I mean, you just touched on it, shrooms. I have done shrooms, quite a bit in my life, and it's been profound for me in unlocking different, I don't want to call it states of being, but like different.
The easiest way I can put it, because I know what you're asking, shit, we could probably talk about this for a couple hours.
Absolutely.
But
don't worry, this will be first of many pods, Kenny.
Yeah, I know.
We'll do a lot more.
The simplest way to put shrooms in like words is it helps you remember.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, Yeah,
but it's a reminder.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a slap in the face reminder. And other times it's a, hey, over here.
Yeah, it's like a little whisper.
Yeah.
I microdose like 3-4 times a week. And I notice when I am in a microdosing phase, I just find myself, I don't want to just use the word happier because I feel like that word has been tainted by a lot of things, but it's like, I just find myself interfacing with reality almost like how it's supposed, no, not supposed to, but how I feel like, oh shit, I'm being reminded of my higher self, how it would be. But it's not just like, I know that the shrooms are showing me that, but it's not the shrooms. Now I have that, we all have that, it's in us, but this is a tool that's helping me remember that, hey, it's possible to say hello to that old lady in the elevator and not just be in my phone.
Yeah.
Like, it's the little thing,
Right.
these little moments throughout the day that actually, it's not, people think you take some shrooms and it's this just massive realizations. And sure, you do have that sometimes. When you take a larger dose and you go and you get these crazy perspectives that change your way of being. But I'm almost right now at the stage I'm at in my life. I don't really like want to do that as much. I'm very interested in like the micro, like the little like course corrections,
Yeah.
the tiny degrees of change that make the biggest difference in your life, right? And it's like, oh no, I really like just going for a bike ride and smelling the trees and seeing them dancing as I go by. Like
Yeah.
that is life. Or when I'm stressed or worried about some invoice that wasn't paid or something or some like egoic thing that I'm told to care about, it's kind of like, that's not important. Like actually, this person who smiled at me, I'm gonna give them a smile back, and I just changed the world and my life through that tiny decision.
Was it Interstellar, the movie where like you can like move and look through the fabric? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So mushrooms is like that
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of it's almost like when it comes to making business decisions, when you're working in your business, you are a chess piece, right? And you're looking at the board game from the perspective of a running back.
Yeah. You're
Right?
so in it.
But when you start to use psychedelics as a way to really understand yourself and reshift and like reshape your perspective, you were just a guy who's playing 10 chessboards.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see everything from 30,000 feet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can see what the other potential moves of 10 competitors are too.
Something I've been spiritually working on, if you call it that, is this concept that we all think, and I'm not judging, this has nothing to do with anyone else, this is something I'm working through, but we all think that there's one creator.
Sure.
I've been kind of wrestling with the idea that like we are all creators. We are all the creators of our reality and this collective consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And in honoring that, I think that our limited speck of time on planet Earth, I think it's so beautiful to have those reminders sometimes to zoom out and look at all the chessboards.
Yeah.
And not be such a pawn in the game.
Right.
Because we limit our power, our infinite cosmic fucking power,
Mm-hmm.
by thinking so one-to-one. And this kind of relates to how we started this podcast of like the door-to-door sale. That first sale, it was so friggin' important because it set a course of you and I now sitting here and having this conversation.
Right.
And all the crazy things that are going to come from this conversation and from everything that you do, that I do, that we can't even like fathom the scope of the butterfly effect of everything that's happening at all times, right? But now you look at your journey, however, 20, whatever years later, doing this, you can actually zoom out a little bit more as you level up, as you remove yourself. And I do think that certain people like us, we are called to do that. And when we are doing that, we are in our highest alignment. I know these terms are thrown around a lot, but it's just the English language. It's how I can communicate this concept. But really what I'm trying to say is like, I think we all owe it to ourselves to listen to that little voice.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's super important to take a moment and like look at where you are right now. And it's like, what's little Deep think?
Yeah. It's crazy because I think something that I've really had to like work on the last few years is like, I live so much in the future. I'm always thinking about what's next and the next mountain and the next thing and I really struggle with being present, but coming and living here, and I do want to talk about this in a second, has actually like really helped me stay grounded and appreciative. And something as simple as a beautiful Miami sunset just brings me back to It's like this is enough. This concept of enough.
I saw you post that the other day, and I thought that was friggin' awesome.
Right? Because there's
We're so busy and chase. What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? What's next? What's next? What's next?
Yeah, I want this car. No, well, I wish I had $50K a month. And this
So talk about that, because the enough, right? What does that mean to you in comparison to the nicer car? Like, how much better does it get than what you have right now?
It doesn't. And that's really the conclusion that I came to. The things that actually do matter are the quality of my relationships.
Yep.
My body and mind trying to take care of this vehicle as much as possible. Because as I know it right now, I only have one. Okay? Can't really swap it out for a nicer one. Relationships are everything to me. They're just so important. It's over any amount of money. That is everything. And I feel like my cup is so full with beautiful relationships, like people like yourself, my business partner, intimate relationships, this, that, whatever. Like, I'm just so blessed and grateful for that. And can I have a bigger space? Sure. I think I'll then get the hedonic adaptation. Like, that'll be not enough.
Yep.
Can I get a G-Wagon and feel cool? Because I want a big body car and I want to rip around and my ego will feel sick. Like, like in a nice car. Yeah, but then in a couple months it'll be old.
Yep.
It'll feel old, like,
Yep.
You get that first scratch on your car or something, and all of a sudden it's not this brand new toy, whatever. And so that stuff doesn't matter. Like, so, I mean, it's one of those things, I hear it now, a lot of podcast hosts and stuff are talking about, these lessons that a lot of us, we know money's not going to make you happy, but we are always just like, yeah, but I want to find out on my own. It's like, yeah, won't be me though. I'll make the hundreds of millions, and like, no, I'm gonna still be like humble and like whatever. And so the concept of enough, I can't take credit for it. It's like just a simple word, but I heard it in this book by Sahil Bloom, The 5 Types of Wealth. And it's basically the concept of the way we measure wealth right now is money.
Sure.
Net
Purely
worth.
financial.
Because it's actually by design a very easy way to know, hey, you've got 10 million in your bank, he's got 100. He is 10 times wealthier than you on paper, right? But you don't know if guy with the 100 M's has been through 5 divorces, missed out on all his kids, recitals and soccer games, is depressed, fat, unhappy, miserable.
Yeah.
And maybe the guy who's working minimum wage but comes home to a loving wife, has 2 beautiful kids, and is sound body of mind. That guy's wealthier than the guy with the 100 M's who's sick and dying but has a big bank account. So that book talks about how we can actually quantify those other types of wealth, like social relationships, physical, your vitality. There's a few others. I'm not quoting it well right now, but there's this whole chapter on this concept of enough. And I think that's so beautiful, because when is it ever enough? And if you can't be happy now, you probably won't be later. So I'm really, really trying. I'm not saying I'm there yet. I still get caught in the ego traps every day of like, no, but then we need to do this, and we got to set this objective and this goal to do this. But then, like you said, in those moments, on those Friday nights, or in those, for me, it's taking a shower or going for a walk or something, where I'm just alone with my thoughts, and I'm like, well, for what?
Yeah.
Why is it if this, then that logic? That's a fallacy. That's actually never true. When I get to here, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But what happened every other time? I told myself, well, when I quit my job, I'll be happy.
Right.
I quit it years ago.
Just be happy.
Just choose. You can make that decision.
Right.
So that's my thoughts on that.
I love that. And I think when you do start to do that microdose or that psychedelic, I think the power of zooming out can really throw that into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, cool. I'm not stressing.
Yeah.
No, it's not a penthouse. No, there's not a private jet outside, but I got a pretty damn good life, man.
Yeah. A lot of
I got
would
people
trade
that I
it.
love, people that care about me, good food, the best sunsets. Like, I look at the ocean daily.
Mm-hmm.
You got a pretty good life.
Pretty damn good life.
And you get to work on your mission with your best friends.
Exactly. I don't think it gets any better than this. Like, I will look back at this period of my life where maybe financially I'm not where I want to be. I still think there's value in having a direction
Sure.
and build. And we're competitors, we're athletes. In the sport of business, it does require the ego. It does. I never want to deny that ego. I'm not going to be a monk in the fucking Himalayas, like giving away all my possessions because I'm this enlightened soul that doesn't want nice things.
Right.
I absolutely do. But do I need those as a prerequisite to be happy?
No.
Or to feel joy or to be fulfilled? No. No. Like, this is it. I'm going to look back at this time with so much, like a big smile on my face of like, oh man, that was sick. That was dope. Sitting in my little apartment in Miami Beach with Kenny, Jamie, my beautiful friends, my beautiful people, my family is healthy. Like, this is it, bro. Like, it doesn't really get much better than this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think there's power in the present because that's what steals your happiness is when you're just never satisfied.
moving the goalpost.
Sure, you need that if you really want to build something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you need to enjoy it now, and you need to be appreciative of what it is right now too.
Well, I think it also goes back to then, what we were talking about with your partner, Taylor.
Yeah.
People like him with the PBJ going out, crushing all day. I don't know him, so I'm not, I'm saying people like him, right?
Yeah.
With that, I don't want to say psychotic, but that like insane level of drive and performance. What we don't see is everything that he left behind. When I wear his Tom Brady jersey and I learn more about the sicko that this guy was, just watching game film, this clicking. I have this I don't know if you've ever seen that clip of him just in his house, kids are playing around, like wife is there, whatever, in this mansion, and he's got this clicker and he's just watching film. Obsessively, just his teammates aren't doing none of that. Of course, that extra. There's a lot that he had to give up for that.
Of course.
You don't get those 7 Super Bowl rings without a ton of sacrifice. And dude, I don't know his personal life or whatever, but like divorced, you don't know the demons that like a Michael Jordan. You don't know what you put away to become that GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that, and I don't want that. I value some other things. And do I want to do the best that I can and feel good about, a good day's work and do the best that I can to perform? Absolutely. But I don't need $1 billion to be happy.
Right.
I think there's, a number that I'd feel very comfortable with, and we do want to strive to get there. But if we fall short, but I have all those other levels of wealth, I think it's a damn good life that I'm happy with.
It's like that sphere. You want everything to grow equally and evenly.
No, there's seasons, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you talked about, 2 years, no Fridays, going out with the buddies, with your girl, with, you could go out to client dinners or this or events or whatever. It's like, nah, I'm in a season right now of rediscovery of what I actually want. I think that's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was needed.
Yeah.
It wasn't always enjoyable when I was going through it, but looking back, I'm like, cool. That was needed. And I'm way I'm super thankful that it did turn out that way, because I'm a guy that needs to learn by falling flat on his face.
A lot of us are.
You can tell me something. No, it doesn't matter or mean anything until I go and experience it firsthand.
Absolutely, man. And you're going to continue to do that. And that's a beautiful thing. It's going to happen. Even with this, I'm so excited about this new platform and everything that you got going. But you already know going into it, it never goes the way you planned.
No.
It never does. And that's why I find like sometimes 5-year plans and shit, when people ask me, that's such bullshit. Imagine you had a 5-year plan like in right before COVID.
Right.
Everyone's 5-year plan went to shit.
Yep.
All right. So like, I try to do the best you can, set goals, but yeah, you're going to fall flat on your face sometimes. I think the most important thing to kind of cap this podcast off with is, as long as you just keep getting back up, you're still in the game. You're still in that journey, that plane ride, that mountain climb, whatever you want to call it. That's what it's all about.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you. We can end it on that.
I love it, Kenny. How can people find you, connect with you, learn about Home Nerds, all that?
I'm probably most active on Instagram at Kenny Crosby.
Cool. And we'll link that all in the description. Brother, this is the first of many episodes. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
I did as well.
We're gonna do a lot more of these. I know we just scratched the surface, but it's not that deep. Thanks, brother.
Cool.
Love you, man.
I love you too, bro.
Good shit.